And a good evening and welcome to Swanson Stadium on this beautiful Wednesday night in Southwest Florida. The most highly anticipated home game of the season. The Eagles playing host to the four-time national champions from the Miami Hurricanes. David Moulton flying solo on this beautiful Wednesday. This is the second of back-to-backers between FGCU and Miami. These two teams played a long game last night. 2 rain delays and 426 pitches needed for Miami's 13-9 win over FGCU. This is the 26th all-time meeting between these two programs. Miami has won 20 of the first 25. This is the 9th time they have played in Southwest Florida. The Canes have a 6-2 edge in Fort Myers. Miami swept the 2-game series last year, and with the win last night, the Canes have won 3 in a row in this cross-state rivalry. In those 3 wins, Miami has scored 28 total runs. On the bump, as Dave Tillett likes to say tonight, senior lefty Justin Gill, making just his second start of the season. Gill is 0-2 with a 7.36 earned run average. For the Miami Hurricanes, Jordan Lala, Anthony Villar, and Freddie Zamora will lead things off. Jordan Lala, Anthony Villar, and Freddie Zamora will be the top of the order for the Canes. The first 6 hitters in the Miami lineup are all hitting over 300. The first 5 hitters in the lineup have played either every game or every game but one that Miami has played this year. The Canes come in at 21-12 on the season, 7-8 in the vaunted ACC, and with that record, Miami has an RPI in the top 40. The Canes, who have missed the NCAA tournament the last 2 years, would be in the tournament as things are today. FGCU, meanwhile, they've been playing pretty well of late. The Eagles come in with a record of 22-10, having won 8 of their last 10. The 2 losses have been midweek games. Last week, it was in Tampa against South Florida. And then, of course, last night in Miami, the 13-9 setback. FGCU pitchers really struggling. Dave Tillett has said that I think we've got 3 starters. We're pretty good on the weekend. We need a 4th starter to emerge. And obviously, 7 FGCU pitchers needed to get through 8 innings last night. 231 pitches. They gave up 13 hits, 13 earned runs, walked 11. And so we'll see how Justin Gill does tonight, facing left-hand hitting Jordan Lala, the freshman, hitting .313 with 2 homers and 8 RBIs. And we are about ready to get underway. And Gill's first pitch is a swinging strike, and we are, in fact, underway. Lala was 2 for 4 in the win last night. He also reached base 2 times via walk. One of the 2 hits was a double, and he scored 2 runs. All 9 Miami starters scored in the win last night. 8 of the 9 recorded hits. 7 of the 9 drew walks. Did I mention 426 pitches last night in a regulation game, 8.5 inning game? I don't know that I've ever heard that before. A grounder, right side, fair ball. Cole Gilmore handles it on 2 hops, and we've got the first out of the game. Gilmore at first, Richie Garcia at second, Eric Gonzalez at short, Jay Hayes is at third. Keith Stevens gets the start in left, Mark Koffers in center, Anthony Ganella around and right, and Alex Brait, who has started every single game this year. And that is a very impressive statistic for a catcher. Making his 33rd consecutive start is behind the plate. Slow curve in there for a strike. Villar, the second baseman, hitting .325 with a homer and 20 RBIs. The 0-1, another slow curve, right in there for a strike, 0-2. Vilar 1 for 5 last night, also reached on a walk. The one hit was a double, and he scored a run. Vilar also a freshman, so the top two hitters in the Canes lineup, freshmen. Fastball just misses the corner. Home plate umpires Luke Hamilton. Hank Himinen is on the right side, and A.J. Listaglio is down the third base line at present time. A beautiful night. A few clouds, the wind blowing out to right center field. Big crowd on hand, not only because it's the Canes, it's Military Appreciation Night. The 1-2 from Gill. Fastball just misses. Trying to get that low outside corner. 2-2. Gill is not a hard thrower. Wondering if he can go changeup here. Shown him 2 curveballs, 2 fastballs. And now the count's gone full at 3-2. He's had good command of the curveball here in the early going. I mean, granted, he's only thrown about 7 pitches, but shown the curveball for a strike every time. 1 away, top of the first inning. Anthony Vilar to face a 3-2 pitch. Fastball line to left center field. Coffer's got a beat on it, but he's going to have to field it on a couple hops. And Vilar keeps on running. Play at second base, and he's out. Coffer's throw was on target. The shortstop Gonzalez let it go through. Garcia fielded it on a couple hops, and he had the ball in plenty of time. So Vilar with a single, but thrown out by the center fielder Coffers, going to second. And so 2 away. And it brings up right-hand hitting sophomore Freddie Zamora. The shortstop takes a fastball outside, ball 1. He's hitting .338 on the season with 6 homers and is second on the team with 36 RBIs. So more than a run batted in a game for Freddie Zamora. And I know RBIs are not considered as great a stat as they once were, which I don't quite understand. As Gill able to throw one by Zamora, 1-1. And when you're at the plate, what's the object? Drive somebody in if they're on base. But I guess I'm just, too old. The 1-1 from Gill. Change up, swing and a miss by Zamora, and Justin ahead of the shortstop 1-2. Zamora was 1 for 4 last night. He walked, drove in a run, and scored 2 runs. 2 outs, nobody on. Senior Justin Gill to the sophomore Freddie Zamora, and that one ripped to left field. Stevens, however, has got a beat on it right at him, and the top spin brought that line drive down, and Zamora with a hard hit out to left. So no runs, 1 hit, and no men left on base. Bottom of the first we go, scoreless here at Swanson between the Eagles and the Hurricanes from Miami. Bottom of the first inning at Swanson Stadium. Slade Ciccone, a freshman, gets the start for the Hurricanes. 9th appearance of the season, 8th start for Slade. He comes in with a 4-2 record and a 4.31 earned run average. So clearly Miami's pitching situation a little bit better than FGCU's tonight. They've got one of their standard midweek starters on the bump. Meanwhile, FGCU trying to piece it together, although Justin Gill able to get 3 outs with little damage in the first inning. Saccone will face Mark Coffers, Alex Brate, and Jay Hayes, the top of the FGCU lineup tonight. And the Eagles, they pounded out 13 hits and scored 9 runs last night, but not enough in the 13-9 loss to the Hurricanes. Behind Saccone, Alex Torrell is at first, Anthony Villar at second, Freddie Zamora at short, Raymond Gill is at third, Lala Jordan, or Jordan Lala, is in left, Tony Jenkins in center, and Gabe Rivera around in right, and Adrian Del Castillo is behind the plate. And here is the center fielder, Mark Coffers, who comes in hitting .248, up 23 points from just last weekend when he was hitting .225. Coffers with a homer and 13 RBIs, and he had a big game last night for FGCU. 3 hits, scored 2 runs. Eagles scored 3 in the first last night as Saccone paints the outside corner with a fastball, strike 1. So the Eagles jump out to a 3-0 lead last night, and then there's a nearly hour-long rain delay. And that fastball at the belt called the strike, and Coffers not happy with it, but he's behind 0-2. Don't know if it affected Brendan Heiss, who has had control problems this year, although Heiss with a brilliant outing in relief on Saturday, and that's a high slider. And, well, Saccone thought it was a strike. Del Castillo thought it was a strike. It looked to be very similar to the fastball, the pitch before it, but home plate umpire Luke Hamilton said, not to my liking, ball 1. The 1-2, fastball, swing and a miss, and 4 pitches in, Saccone with his first strikeout of the game. And Saccone averages close to a strikeout per inning. He now has 38 strikeouts in 40 innings pitched. Opponents hitting .255 against Slade Saccone. Left-hand hitting catcher Alex Brate steps to the plate. He also had a big game last night. Saccone paints the outside corner, strike 1. Brate comes in hitting a robust .357, 2 homers, 23 RBIs. The 0-1. Skied, shallow left field. Lala comes in, makes the catch, and just like that, 2 away. Brate, 2 for 5 last night, both extra base hits, one of them a 2-run homer in the 8th to bring the Eagles to within 3. And earlier in the game he had tripled. He drove in 3 runs last night and reached base 3 times. And after Brate hit the 2-run homer last night in the 8th, Jay Hayes followed it up with a solo homer, his 8th of the season. And the third baseman steps in right now to face Saccone. He takes a fastball. Ball. Hayes, .376, leading the team in hitting, leading the team with 8 homers, leading the team with 38 RBIs. And the 1-0 hit deep to left field, but foul and out of play. Had home run distance, but foul. Not by much, but foul. Hayes just got ahead of it. 2 for 5 last night, 2 RBIs. He was also hit by a pitch. I mean, that's the other part of last night's game. Not only did each team have 13 hits, not only were there 16 walks, throw in about 4 hit by pitches just for the heck of it. I mean, you want base runners. I mean, Miami had over 20 guys, Miami had 26 guys reach base, and FGCU had 20. The 2-1. Slider catches the outside corner, good pitch, count even at 2. Hardly any wind right now. What wind there is seems to be blowing out to right center, and a sweeping curve, and Hayes just got a piece of it to stay alive, 2-2. Mentioned Brendan Heiss got the start last night for FGCU. Craig Anderson and I did the game on Saturday, in which Heiss came in and gave FGCU 2 2/3 shutout innings of middle relief to try to keep them in a game that they were trailing 8-0. And he did such a terrific job that FGCU, once they got a rally going, he handed the back end of the bullpen a 10-8 lead in the ninth. And the Eagles came back as Hayes fouls one out of play, count full at 3-2. What was the biggest comeback in the 17-year history of FGCU baseball. Last Saturday afternoon right here at Swanson Stadium, down 8-0 in the sixth. And they won it 10-9 and did not even have to bat in the ninth. A 7-run eighth inning to cap it off. The 3-2 is up and in, and Hayes works out a 2-out walk. So the Eagles have their first base runner. And here's left fielder Keith Stevens. Stevens hitting .316 with a homer and 12 RBIs. Stevens with a nice night last night, 2 for 4, a walk and a run scored. And Ciccone pounds the strike zone with a fastball from the stretch, 0-1. Hayes has not attempted a stolen base this year, being held on by Torrell at first. The 0-1. Fastball high. 1-1. Big hole on the right side of the Canes infield. The 1-1. Off-speed pitch and a beauty, 1-2. Coffers struck out. Brait fly to shallow left. Hayes worked out a walk. Stevens behind in the count, 1-2 here in the bottom of the first for FGCU, scoreless. Tried to come back with the off-speed pitch, and it was high, 2-2. When he went 2-2 on Coffers, he just reared back and threw it by him. And at 3-2, he tried to do the same to Hayes, but missed the strike zone. The 2-2, fastball, fouled back. Stevens was late on it. If I'm Ciccone and the catcher, Del Castillo, not so sure I get away from the fastball just yet. Don't know that you have to trick anybody right now. Your stuff's good enough. Hayes with a modest lead off first. The 2-2. Fastball just missed on the outside corner. And now the count's gone full, 3-2. And I will say, with that last pitch being just off the corner, probably got Stevens set up for something where you could start it on the plate and have it break off of it. Hayes will be running on the 3-2 fastball. High chopper behind the mound. Ciccone with a nice play and a throw over to Terrell at first to get Stevens and the side retired. So a 2-out walk, and the Eagles leave 1. We've played 1 at Swanson Stadium, scoreless between FGCU and the Miami Hurricanes. Top of the second inning at Swanson Stadium, scoreless between the Eagles and the Hurricanes. It'll be 4-5-6 for Miami. Adrian Del Castillo, the catcher. Raymond Gill, the third baseman. J.P. Gates, the designated hitter, to face senior lefty Justin Gill, who faced the minimum in the first despite giving up a single. Anthony Villar tried to stretch a single into a double. It's the second batter of the inning, and Coffers threw him out from center field. And so that's why Gill is still facing the minimum. And the soft-tossing lefty will face the cleanup hitting catcher, Del Castillo. Mention the first 6 batters in the Miami lineup, all hitting above 300. Del Castillo with a .326 batting average. Slow curve. And right now, Gill, that's his best pitch of the night, strike one. And we mentioned how Alex Brate has caught every single game for FGCU. Del Castillo, this his 34th start in a row as he tries to check his swing and can't, and falls behind in the count 0-2. Del Castillo, a freshman. Think about it. 4 of the top 6 hitters in the Miami lineup are freshmen, and all of them are underclassmen. 4 freshmen, 5 sophomores. The starting lineup for the Canes tonight. Curveball in the dirt, 1-2. Del Castillo, 4 homers, a team-leading 39 RBIs. He reached base 4 times last night. 3 for 5. 2 of the 3 hits were doubles. He walked, scored twice, drove in 4. Fastball on the outside corner, and the first strikeout of the night for Justin Gill is Adrian Del Castillo. Pitcher's pitch there, knee high on the corner. And Del Castillo not happy with that at bat. Had a check swing he wants back and took a call. Strike 3. Just the 13th time that Del Castillo has struck out this season. Pretty impressive, considering he has over 150 plate appearances. Here's the sophomore third baseman, Raymond Gill. He checks his swing. Takes an off-speed pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Gill hitting .374, second on the team in hitting with that .374 average. 8 homers, 21 RBIs. Fastball just misses low, 1-1. Compared to everyone else's line last night, Gill's 1 for 5 with a walk and an RBI and a run scored. Just looks, okay. Swing and a miss at a high fastball. And Justin Gill is ahead of Raymond Gill. No relation, 1-2. In fact, the pitcher spells Gill with 2 L's. The batter, Raymond Gill, spells Gill with 1 L. The 1-2, fastball, swing and a miss, and back-to-back strikeouts from Justin Gill. 2 away here in the second. And here's the best hitter on the Canes team thus far this year, J.P. Gates, at least in terms of batting average. Now, granted, he's only had about 50 at-bats, and he started half the number of games as everyone else on the team, but he's hitting .435, and he's swinging at the first pitch and fouling it straight back. Gates with a homer and 12 RBIs was 1 for 5 last night with a run scored. No score, top of the second. Fastball just misses. Well, this is exactly what Dave Tillett and FGCU needs. A pitcher around the strike zone. After last night's 8 innings of 13 hits and 11 walks and 13 earned runs allowed. The 1-1. Pulled foul. It's also fascinating that in the first inning, Justin Gill throwing a lot of off-speed pitches. The slow curve was his money pitch. He'd always throw something off speed before or after a fastball. Here in the second inning, been a lot of fastballs. The 1-2. Slow curve, swing and a miss, and Justin Gill strikes out the side. 3 up, 3 down for the Canes. Bottom of the second, scoreless here at Swanson Stadium. Bottom of the second at Swanson Stadium. In between innings, much like during a stoppage, if you've been to an FGCU basketball game, they've got little things that go on. Well, they had a race. Kind of just, foul ground in between the third base line and the FGCU dugout. And they had 2 younger guys going at it, and they were going at it like prizes were on the line, which they were. But, we had both of them dive head first to the finish line. So the Eagles just decided, we're just going to give them both prizes because we figure one of the two's probably separated their shoulder, and they might as well at least get a parting gift. So everybody's bringing the intensity tonight, including the fans, between the second of a home-and-home series between the Eagles and the Canes. 5, 6, 7 in the FGCU lineup. First baseman Cole Gilmore, be followed by Richie Garcia and Joe Kinker for the Eagles, who managed a 2-out walk in the first inning against Slade Ciccone. And that's it. And Ciccone ahead of Gilmore 0-1. Gilmore comes in hitting .287 with 2 homers and 25 RBIs. Another fastball lined, and what a catch by the shortstop, Freddie Zamora. Looked like it was by him, and then he reached up and snared it. Hard hit out for Gilmore. 1 away. Here's Richie Garcia, the second baseman. Got the average right around 300 at 297. The junior, like Alex Brait, has started every single game this season. He takes a fastball high, ball 1. Richie with 2 homers and 20 RBIs to go with the 297 average. Fastball's high again, 2-0. Richie with a good night last night. 2 hits, 2 walks, and an RBI. Miami 13-9 winners last night in Coral Gables at Mark Light Field. Fastball popped up, out of play. Nice crowd on hand tonight. Not only because the Canes are here, but it's Military Appreciation Night at Swanson Stadium. A lot of people, standing room only tonight. Swing and a miss, and that's when you know when you got a good fastball. When you're behind in the count and you say to the hitter, I'm going to throw you my fastball. Good luck. And the hitter can't catch up. Count now 2-2. And Ciccone with another fastball. He's thrown 5 straight to Garcia, and the count's gone full at 3-2. Joe Kinker, the DH, is in the on-deck circle. The 3-2. Fastball is high, and Garcia with a 1-out walk, which makes that terrific defensive play by Zamora loom even larger right now. because there'd be 2 on, nobody out for Kinker. It's the lowest I've seen Kinker in the batting order since maybe his first couple games of his freshman season. Kinker still hitting .364. Hasn't homered in a while. 5 homers, 26 RBIs. And Kinker looking fastball, gets it and fouls it straight back. Joe was 0 for 3 last night with a walk. Garcia, only 1 stolen base on the season. Decent-sized lead off first, not going. Beautiful off-speed pitch that Kinker just has to nod his head at on the outside corner, 0-2. No score, bottom of the second. Canes have the only hit in this game thus far. Eagles have managed 2 walks. The 0-2, slider in the dirt, good play by Del Castillo. Ciccone taking a lot of time, now from the stretch, ready to go. The 1-2. Slow curve, and Kinker swings and misses. Second strikeout of the game for Ciccone. 2 away. And the shortstop, Eric Gonzalez, who was called upon about a dozen or so games into the season in which last year's freshman sensation Christian Prophet was struggling mightily. The senior Gonzalez was tapped on the shoulder, try to give the Eagles some offense, and he's been terrific. Getting to slow down a little bit here in the last couple games, but Eric's hitting .265 with 2 homers and 19 RBIs. It's a lot of RBIs from a guy who's hitting 8th tonight, but has hit 9th most of the season. Eric was 1 for 5 last night with a run scored. Garcia still has a decent-sized lead, not going. Fastball, call strike, 1-1. Gonzalez kind of grimaced at the home plate umpire, Luke Hamilton, like, you sure that wasn't high? Luke said, no, looked good to me. Garcia not going. Lined at Zamora at short again, and this time going to his right, he snares it. So a couple of hard hit line drives, sandwich a strikeout, and the Eagles leave 1. We've played 2 innings at Swanson Stadium, scoreless between FGCU and Miami. Top of the 3rd inning at Swanson Stadium. Senior lefty Justin Gill has faced the minimum for FGCU. He gave up a hit in the first, but Villar was thrown out trying to stretch a single into a double. Gill struck out the side last inning. He'll face the bottom part of the Miami order, 7, 8, 9. Tony Jenkins, Alex Terral, and Gabe Rivera. And if you're just joining us, Miami a winner 13-9 last night. Eagles pitchers threw 231 pitches last night. Dave Tillett needed 7 pitchers to go the 8 innings. And they threw nearly 30 pitches in an inning. Gave up 13 hits, walked 11, hit a couple batters. So to say he would love a good outing from Justin Gill is beyond an understatement. Here's the right-hand hitting center fielder Jenkins, who takes a fastball in the corner, strike one. Tony Jenkins hitting .224 on the season. No homers, 8 RBIs. Had a good night last night, though. 2 for 3, double, a walk, scored 2, drove in 2. Jenkins grounds one right side. Garcia to his left, fields it, comes up throwing to Gilmore in time. So we've seen some good leather already tonight. The shortstop Zamora's made a couple of nice plays for Miami to catch a couple liners. And Garcia, ranging to his left, actually dropped to his knees to field that one and then popped up in time to throw out the speedy Jenkins one away. Here's the first baseman, Alex Terrell. And Gill pounds the outside corner for a strike. Terrell hitting .233 on the season, but he's got 13 home runs, which is tied for the lead in the ACC. And he's also third on the team with 34 RBIs. And he's swinging and jams one into shallow left field. Stevens coming on, and he can't get it. Big turn at first for Terrell, but he's a one-out base runner with the single. And so one out, one on for the right fielder, Gabe Rivera. Sophomore's hitting .293 on the season, 2 homers, 11 RBIs. First time that Gill has to pitch from the stretch, because as I mentioned earlier, even though he gave up a hit in the first, Villar thrown out trying to stretch a single into a double, so Gill was able to just keep on keeping on from the full windup. Terrell has not attempted a stolen base, and he has a very small lead. Gill, this could be 2. Grounder to short. Gonzalez to Garcia for 1. Over to first. 6-4-3. Double play, and through 3, Justin Gill has faced the minimum. Wait. What? Oh, my goodness. First base umpire Hank Himonen said that Garcia's throw pulled Gilmore off the bag. FGCU can't believe it. They were running off the field. I had called the inning over. Dave Tollett's trying to keep his composure here. I didn't even think it was close to drawing Gilmore off the bag. And you can see the first base umpire just kind of shrugging his shoulders going, Toe, I don't know what to tell you. Pulled him off the bag. And obviously it would continue the inning. And as I mentioned, top of the order comes up, and the first 6 hitters in the Miami lineup are all hitting over 300. Every out is crucial here. So it turns out just to be a 6-4 fielder's choice. And Rivera is on first with 2 away. And here's the left fielder, Jordan Lala, who grounded out to first to start this game for Miami. Now there's no error on the play because you can't assume a double play. Slow curve, high, ball 1 to Lala, who came in hitting .313. 2 homers, 8 RBIs. He reached base 4 times last night and scored 2 runs in the Miami win. Gilmore holding Rivera on. Rivera has stolen 2 bases this year. And he's running. Fastball, ball, throw down, safe. So Rivera and the Canes taking advantage of the break. And Rivera steals second to get into scoring position. And the fastball was ruled the ball, so Lala ahead of the count 2-0. So Gill and the Eagles need to regain their composure here. They thought they were out of the inning with a 6-4-3 double play. Gill's thrown a couple of close pitches, both of them called balls. And the freshman Lala ahead of the count 2-0. Slow curve, good pitch, 2-1. Eagles defense straight away in both the infield and the outfield. Shallow in the outfield. The corners are up in the infield. The 2-1, another slow curve. That one ripped the right center field, and that's going to plate the game's first run. Canella comes over and fields it, throws it in, but it's an RBI single for Lala, and the Canes lead it 1-0. And I can imagine that Toe is not happy because not only has the controversial call at first cost FGCU at least one run, it's also now costing Gill pitches. And this is Gill's second start of the year, and he came in having only thrown 14 2/3 innings. So every out crucial for Justin Gill and the Eagles. And now here's Anthony Villar, who singled his first time out and was thrown out trying to stretch it to a double. And the Canes are a running. Lala on the first pitch, steals second. And that's the 16th stolen base for Jordan Lala. He is 16 for 18 on the season. He is second in the ACC in stolen bases. So back-to-back Canes reach. First, Rivera stole second, scored on the RBI single. Now Lala steals second, and Villar is set up. As I mentioned, he singled his first time up. Takes a fastball inside. Count now 2-0. Villar, before that single in the first, came in hitting .325. And you can see Justin Gill trying to compose himself. The 2-0. Fastball out. Ooh. Might have caught a break there from Luke Hamilton. 2-1. High strike on the outside corner. Top of the order in the first inning, Gill was throwing a lot of off-speed pitches. His slow curve was his best pitch. Ever since then, he's been going mostly with fastballs. What will he do this time to Villar? The 2-1. Swing and a miss at a fastball, 2-2. Lala at second. One run is in, two away. Top of the third inning. Controversial run at that. Eagles thought they had a 6-4-3 double play to end this inning. But the first baseman was ruled off the bag on the throw from Richie Garcia at second, and it was a throw that was not offline either. So the first base umpire, Hank Himonen, is basically saying Cole Gilmore just came off the bag too soon. It's not a call you see very often. Count's gone full here on Villar, 3-2. Slow curve and a high fly to deep right field. Ganella going back at the wall, looks up, and it is gone. The second home run of the season for Villar. A two-run shot, and the Canes have taken full advantage of the break, and they've scored three to lead it 3-0. And here's the shortstop, Freddie Zamora. So a bad break for the Eagles, and Miami has taken full advantage of it. 2 stolen bases, a single, and a homer. And instead of scoreless going to the bottom of the third, it is 3-0, and the Canes still batting. And Zamora's bunting. Coming in from third is Hayes. He throws over to first in time. So the side is eventually retired, but not after the Canes score 3 runs on 3 hits. And we go to the bottom of the third, and Miami leads it 3-0. Do we have a bottom of the third inning, Swanson Stadium? An eventful top of the third. Eagles thought they had a 6-4-3 double play to end the inning. First base umpire said that Cole Gilmore came off first and catching the relay from Garcia. Eagles couldn't believe it. Canes took full advantage. Stole 2 bases, I should say. Added 2 more hits, including a 2-run homer. And it's now 3-0 Miami as it's 9-1-2 in the batting order for the Eagles. Right fielder Anthony Ganella to lead things off. And the lefty takes a fastball low, ball 1. Anthony's hitting .240 on the season. The junior's got 2 homers and 9 RBIs. Another fastball low, 2-0. Ganella came into last night's game for Eusebio. Went 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. 3-0 Canes. Check swing. Slade Ciccone struck out 2. Has allowed a base runner in each of the first 2 innings. A couple of walks. Eagles still looking for their first hit. Swing and a miss at a fastball. He's got a good one. We've seen it now 3 times already in this game in which Ciccone's been behind in the count 2-0 or 2-1 and has just reared back and thrown a fastball. And the Eagles hitters have been unable to catch up to it. And he usually stays with it after that. The 2-2, and there's a fastball, but it just misses inside. It's been mostly fastballs from Ciccone here through the lineup the first time around. Broke off a nice slow curve to Kinker in earlier at bat as Ganella stays alive, 3-2. A little bit of wind that there is here at Swanson Stadium on a Chamber of Commerce night is blowing out to right field. The 3-2 fastball. Ganella just got a piece of it. Still having trouble catching up to that fastball. And if I'm Ciccone and the catcher Del Castillo, I keep calling it and I keep throwing it until Ganella proves he can catch up to it. The 3-2. Fastball is high. And Ciccone has now walked one in each of the first 3 innings. This is the first time the Eagles have gotten the leadoff batter on. Top of the order for the center fielder, Mark Coffers, who struck out to start things off for the Eagles in the bottom of the first. Coffers, batting average beginning to rise here in the last handful of games. Was down in the 220s. It's now up near 250 now. And he shows bunt, snap throw to first. And where was that pitch? And I think the Canes are asking, and I believe it was called the ball high, 1-0. Coffers 3 singles last night, scored twice in the 13-9 loss. 3-0 Canes, bottom of the third. Cannella fakes as if he's going, and another throw down to first, and this time he's called safe. So Hank Himonen has made 2 calls at first base, and the team in the field has disagreed with both of them. And Cannella, put it this way, the ball beat him to first, I'll tell you that. Whether the tag was there in time or not. Cannella and the Eagles breathe a sigh of relief. 1-1 the count. Coffer shows bunt and bunts it foul out of play. Now, I don't mind the bunt if you're bunting for a base hit to bring the tying run to the plate, but that was squared around them, more like a sacrifice, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Cannella, who has not stolen a base this year, with now a modest lead off first. The 1-2. And Coffer stays alive. Good slider there. Coffer's got a piece of it. The heart of the Eagles lineup, 300 hitters are waiting to get to the plate for the second time against Ciccone. Brait, Hayes, and Stevens. Swing and a miss, and Coffers goes down for the second time in the game. That was good old country hardball there. Here it is, hit it. And Coffers, who struck out on a fastball his first time up, does so again his second time up. And here's the catcher, Alex Brait, who flied out to shallow left field his first time up. Huge hole in the right side for Brait to hit through. Brait 2 hits last night. One of them was a 2-run homer. He also had a triple, 3 RBIs. Eagles would love a long ball here to get back in it. Brait hitting .357, only the 2 homers, the second being last night. 23 RBIs. He's ahead of the count, 1-0. Cannella just gets back. He was leaning. Not quite sure why. I mean, at this point, if I'm Cannella, and I've nearly been thrown out twice. The 1-0. Ciccone back over to first, and Cannella right now is close enough where he can just dive and touch the bag. The 1-0, fastball, and he throws it by Brait, 1-1. And we all know what a great advantage it is when your fastball is better than the hitters. You don't have to worry about secondary pitches all that much. The opposing team can't look for them. The 1-1 to Zamora at short. Vilar to Rao, 6-4-3 double play. And no controversy with that one. So no runs, a walk, and no one left. We've played 3 at Swanson. Canes lead it 3-0. Top of the fourth inning at Swanson Stadium. Miami leads it 3-0. We just took a look at the most controversial play in this game during our little break there. Top of the third inning, Eagles thought they had turned to 6-4-3 double play to end the inning. And Cole Gilmore, the first baseman, I mean, he does stretch. And he stretches, pretty good for the first baseman. But the throw was right on the money. He didn't have to go down into the dirt. He didn't have to go to his right or to his left. All he was doing was stretching. And for that matter, the double play ball was such that they were getting the runner by a full step. And what it really looks like is the umpire hesitated. And maybe at the hesitation, he thought he saw the foot off the bag. From our angles, it did not look like Cole Gilmore's foot came off the bag. But instead of an inning-ending double play, the Canes had a base runner on first with 2 away. They stole a couple of bases. They got a couple of hits, including a 2-run homer. And they took advantage of the break to score 3 in the last inning. And Miami leads at 3-0. Justin Gill has pitched pretty well. And he's facing the cleanup hitter, catcher Adrian Del Castillo for the second time. He struck out the side in the second inning against the same 3 hitters he's facing here in the fourth, Del Castillo, Gill, and Gates. Del Castillo leads the Canes in RBIs with 39. A 1-1. Slow curve, ripped foul down the right field line. Wind now gusting fairly strongly to right field. The home run from Villar was a left-hand hitter who got one up in the air, and the wind did help it get into the Canes bullpen in right center field. The 1-2. Fastball misses low and away, 2-2. Del Castillo, one of the first 6 hitters for Miami who are all hitting over 300. The freshman has caught every game this year. 2-2, grounded right side. Gilmore's got it. Race to the bag. And Justin Gill able to get there in time, 1 away.
Now batting, the third baseman, number 16, Raymond Gill.
And no relation, Justin Gill will face Raymond Gill. The sophomore third baseman, second on the team in homers with 8. Second on the team with a .374 batting average. Fastball, outside corner for a strike. Cannot say enough about how well Justin Gill has pitched, particularly coming off the burden that he has coming into this game about how the Eagles wore out their bullpen last night. 7 pitchers used. And the 0-1 fouled straight back. Got a veteran crew here in the press box because nobody flinched. Don't know if you saw that meme on the internet in Toronto last week. A couple of foul balls hit right back at a season ticket holder, and she didn't budge. And I'll tell you what, we got a bunch of season ticket holders right here because nobody moved. The 1-2 from Justin Gill to Raymond Gill. Popped up, right side, down the right field line. Who's calling for it? And it falls in fair territory for a base hit. Oh, that shouldn't be allowed to happen there. Cole Gilmore was stalking at the first baseman. Garcia late coming over. I got it, you got it, and it falls, and it fell in fair territory. You can understand it if maybe it falls in foul ground. But that ball was up there for a while. And so Gill, with the 1-out single, is aboard for J.P. Gates, the designated hitter. And we saw what this vaunted Canes offense could do with a break in the top of the third, and now they get another one here. Fastball inside, ball one. Gates, with the highest batting average on the team, came in hitting .435. So far in this two-game series, though, he's only 1 for 6. Gill's only stolen one base. He dives back in on the throw. Three runs, 5 hits for the Canes. FGCU's still looking for their first hit in the game. The 1-0. Slow curve. I don't know how that didn't hit him. I even thought I heard a little extra sound like it did, but obviously the batter, Gates, did not motion as if it did. And now JP ahead in the count 2-0. Wind blowing out to right center hard. And that one ripped to second. Garcia's got it. Over to second one, and the throw late over to first, but they do get the force. And Gates is now a 2-out base runner. And here's the center fielder, Tony Jenkins. Jenkins grounded out to second his first time up. Heck of a play from Garcia, ranging to his left. Actually had to slide on his knees to field it and then popped up and made a quick throw over to first to get Jenkins by half a step. But J.P. Gates now a 2-out base runner. He's yet to attempt a stolen base this year. Miami has 3 base stealers in their lineup. Jenkins at the plate. And then Lala has stolen 16 bases. And Zamora has stolen 8. Off-speed pitch, a delayed steal, throw down to second, and he's out. So Gates tried the delayed steal, but Alex Brate was having none of it, and he gets thrown out at second to end the 4th inning. So the Canes got a hit, but Gill ends up facing the minimum. No runs, a hit, and no men left. Bottom of the 4th we go, 3-0 Miami. Bottom of the 4th inning, FGCU still looking for their first hit, trailing Miami 3-0. Heart of the order for FGCU, 3, 4, 5, Jay Hayes, Keith Stevens, and Cole Gilmore. Facing right-hander Slade Ciccone, who's walked a batter in each of the first 3 innings, but as I mentioned earlier, has not allowed a hit. Hayes, one of those who walked back in the first. Fastball misses up and away, ball 1. Hayes got the Triple Crown going on the team. Leads him in hitting at 376 as he fouls a fastball straight back 1-1. Leads him in homers with 8. Leads him in RBIs with 38. Hit a solo homer in the loss last night in Miami. And that one hits him. And Hayes, who was hit by a pitch last night, if you're going to get hit by a pitch, get hit by an off-speed pitch. Second consecutive inning that the Eagles have their leadoff man on. Cannella led off the third with a walk, but Brate hit into a double play to end the third inning. Here's Stevens, who hit a high chopper over the mound that Ciccone made a heck of a play on. Over his head, fielded it, and made a good throw over to first. Good frame job by Del Castillo behind the plate to get that called strike. Stevens, 2 hits last night. Hitting .316 on the season, a homer and 12 RBIs. The 0-1's a fastball, that one outside. Well, the Eagles scored 3 runs early last night and then were clawing back the whole night after falling behind 9-3. They got to within 2 on a couple occasions. All-speed pitch. And Ciccone gets the outside corner call, 1-2. Hayes is yet to attempt to steal this season and has a leadoff base runner down 3. I'd be shocked if he's running. The 1-2. Fastball ripped to right field. Rivera coming in, and he misplays it. He was there in time, but it went off his glove. Hayes went halfway, began to go back to first. Then when he saw the ball hit the ground, he had to hustle just to get to second. It's ruled a hit, the first of the game for the Eagles. First and second, nobody out, and Cole Gilmore represents the tying run. Gilmore lined out to the shortstop Zamora his first time up, in which Zamora made a tremendous leaping catch going to his left. So first time the Eagles have 2 base runners in an inning. First time they have someone in scoring position. And here's Gilmore. Takes one low and in, ball 1. Gilmore with a hit last night in Miami. 287 on the season, 2 homers, 25 RBIs. He would love to make the same contact in this at-bat that he made in his first. Canes looking for the double play. Fastball, just high, 2-0. Now, Gilmore hit the fastball hard last time up. He's the only batter tonight who's been able to catch up to Ciccone's fastball, and he'll likely see a couple here. The 2-0. Fastball. Skied down the left field line. La right on the line makes the catch. So Gilmore was looking to tie the game up with one swing, and he skied one for an out to left. Here comes Richie Garcia representing the tying run. The Eagles' second baseman walked his first time up. Well, what was ruled a hit a few moments ago has been taken off the board, and it's now E9 on that Stevens liner. So the Eagles, while having 2 base runners, are still looking for their first hit of the night. Sinker is low, ball 1. First time Ciccone has thrown a pitch like that, for the most part. He has not turned the ball over. He's just reared back and fired. The 1-0. And Garcia with a home run swing there, and he just missed it. 1-1. Richie had 2 hits, 2 walks, and an RBI last night. Batting average right around 300. 2 homers, 20 RBIs. First and second, 1 out, and that one hit him. Or did it hit the bat? Oh, hit the bat. Richie ducked down, and the curveball that got away, I thought it hit his shoulder, but instead it hit his bat. So a break for Ciccone and the Canes. What could have easily been bases loaded, 1 out, or at the very least, Garcia ahead of the count 2-1. Now has the freshman starter ahead of the count 1-2. So the little breaks so far in this game have all gone Miami's way. The 1-2. Fastball. Garcia fights it off down the right field line. Out of play. So Hayes was hit by a pitch leading off the inning. Stevens reached when his line drive went off of Rivera's glove and right, ruled a hit, and then changed to an error. First and second, nobody out. Gilmore flied out to left. And here's Garcia. Fastball just low. 2-2. Good pitch. But it was low. That's the type of pitch you can get a double play on. And so Ciccone threw his sinking fastball looking to get a double play, and now he might throw a little high riser to try to get the strikeout. The 2-2. There it is. And Garcia strikes out. 4th strikeout of the game for Ciccone. He's had 1 in each inning thus far. But the DH, Joe Kinker, comes up representing the tie-in run. Joe struck out back in the 2nd inning. Struggled to catch up with that high fastball. Kinker still looking for his first hit in this Kane series as he went 0 for 3 with a walk last night and struck out back in the 2nd. Joe, however, 2nd on the team in homers with 5. He can catch up to a fastball. And Ciccone and Del Castillo having trouble getting on the same page. Kinker came in hitting .364 with those 5 homers and 26 RBIs. Single would go a long way right here. Just get the Eagles on the board. And for that matter, they're still looking for their first hit. Slider just off the corner, 1-0. Kinker got behind 2 strikes his first time up. And eventually, Ciccone able to go with the high fastball and get him swinging. The 1-0. Fastball at the knees. Good pitch, 1-1. Kinker looking for something a little more elevated so he could elevate it and tie this game. Wind is blowing in from left towards right center. But Kinker with plenty of power to hit one through that. The 1-1. Swing and a miss at the high fastball. And Ciccone has lived with the fastball between the belt and the letters so far tonight. It's a dangerous pitch, obviously. If Kinker catches up to it, the game's tied, but he hasn't come close yet. And he rears back even a little higher. Kinker checks his swing, 2-2. if he can break off either a curve or a slider that even appears to be a strike, Kinker will probably go chasing. The 2-2. Fastball, swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts of Garcia and Kinker, and Ciccone gets out of the inning. No runs, no hits, 2 base runners, but we've played 4, and it's 3-0 Canes. To the 5th we go at Swanson Stadium, and the sun beginning to set in the west. The lights beginning to take full effect. 3 runs, 5 hits, an error for Miami, and zeros across the board for the Canes, for FGCU. The Eagles have had a base runner in every inning and 5 base runners through the first 4 innings, but obviously unable to come up with the big blow to do any damage. Justin Gill, the starter for FGCU. First pitch to Tony Jenkins, who was 2 pitches into an at-bat when Brait threw out Gates trying to steal second to end the 4th. And Jenkins bunts foul, strike 1. For Gill, this is longest outing of the season. It's just his 2nd start of the year. Gill's longest outing before tonight was 3 1/3 against Quinnipiac. Feel a little guilty sending the crack FGCU staff to have to look that up. They had all kind of gotten comfortable. People were ordering food. I turn over and say, hey, can you look this up? And they look at me like, are you really going to make us work? Come on, just enjoy the game. We're paying you, aren't we? Grounded foul. Gill ahead of the count, 1-2. Jenkins grounded out to second his first time up. Had a big night last night. 2 hits, including a double, a walk, scored twice, drove in 2 runs. The 1-2. And grounded this time to Garcia's right, and it gets by Ritchie into right center field for a base hit. So a leadoff base runner, and a dangerous one at that for Miami, because Jenkins second on the team with 8 steals. Dangerous part of the game for Gill and FGCU. It's the bottom part of the Miami lineup, and if they get something going, obviously it rolls over to the top part, and that's where the 300 hitters are all lined up. Here's the first baseman, Alex Terral, who singled back in the 3rd inning. Gill throws over to first, and he got him! And that's a big pickoff because Jenkins is almost an automatic when he runs, having been thrown out just once this year. And Jenkins was frozen on the best move that Gill's got. A late dive over, and the emphatic out call from first baseman Hank Himinen, who's been involved in a couple of close calls already in this game. So one away, and Gill comes back with a slow curve at the knees for a strike to Terrell. Terrell singled with one out in the third. And he was erased on what appeared to be a 6-4-3 double play, and he drills that one to right field. That is a no doubt about it. Over the Canes bullpen in right center field. The 14th homer of the season for Alex Terrell. His 35th RBI, and as he rounds third and heads for home, the left-hand hitting first baseman is 2 for 2, and the Canes lead it 4-0. Second homer of the night for Miami. 14 home runs from your 8th place hitter. Action in the FGCU bullpen. And here's the right fielder, Gabe Rivera, who appeared to hit into the inning-ending double play in the third inning, and he takes a sweeping curveball for a strike. But Hank Himmonen at first base ruled that Cole Gilmore's foot came off the bag. It did not appear to be so. It extended the inning, and the Canes scored 3 runs, capped off by a 2-run homer by Anthony Villar. And as Rivera fouls it back, he's behind in the count 0-2. Four runs, 7 hits for Miami with 1 out in the 5th. And the 0-2, just a bit outside, 1-2. Gill is pitched much better than his line looks, quite frankly. Caught a bad break on the double play that wasn't called. Had a bloop single fall in. Should have been caught. And a late call, but a strikeout of Gabe Rivera, as the 1-2 curveball was ruled to have caught the outside corner. 4th strikeout for Gill. 2 away here in the 5th. Top of the order, Jordan Lala, who grounded out to first to lead off the game. Had an RBI single, stole the base, and scored on Villar's homer in the third inning. Lala 3 for 6 in this home-and-home series with FGCU. And he has scored 3 runs. The freshman the 0-1. Out of play, 0-2. Lala, a freshman out of Tampa. And as you would expect, Miami's roster dominated with players from the east coast of Florida. This obviously one that got away from South Florida, UCF, FGCU. The 5'10" freshman out of Tampa, Steinbrenner High School. Four freshmen, 5 sophomores in this new look Canes team. Grounded, foul. First year head coach Gino DeMari trying to get the Canes back into the NCAA tournament. And if the tournament started this weekend, Miami would be in it with an impressive RPI in the 30s. The 1-2. Fastball, check swing, and a call, strike 3. So back-to-back strikeouts for Gill after the bomb of a homer from Alex Terrell, his 14th of the season. And the Canes score a run on 2 hits. And we're halfway at Swanson Stadium. It's Miami 4 and FGCU nothing. Bottom of the fifth inning. Miami leads FGCU 4-0. Eagles still looking for their first hit. Slade Ciccone, who in his last 5 starts has pitched into the 6th inning every time. His longest outing this year, 7 innings in a win against Jackson State. Ciccone facing 8-9 and then the top of the FGCU lineup. Eric Gonzalez, the shortstop, lined out to Zamora at short back in the 2nd inning. Count now 1-1 to Gonzalez. 265 hitter, 2 homers, 19 RBIs. Good pitch by Ciccone. He turned it over, had a lot of movement on it. It handcuffed the senior shortstop. 1-2. Fastball. Gonzalez lays off. 2-2. The only outing in which Ciccone is not allowed a run as a swing and a miss, and Ciccone has struck out 3 Eagles in a row and now 6 through 4 1/3. Here's the right fielder, Anthony Ganella. Ganella walked leading off the 3rd inning and was erased on an inning-ending double play. Eagles have had a base runner in every inning, with 3 walks, a hit batter, and an error. But obviously with no hits, you're not doing a lot of damage. The 1-0, big swing and a miss, 1-1. I mentioned Ciccone, his very first outing of his college career, because he's a freshman, was 2 innings in relief against Rutgers. He did not allow a run. Otherwise, he's allowed at least 1 run in every outing this year. Came in with a 4-2 record and a 4.31 earned run average. They've been stretching him out here lately. He's thrown 80-plus pitches in his last 6 outings. His last outing against FAU, he threw 98 pitches. And in his longest outing of the year against Jackson State, 7 innings, gave up 1 run, threw 113 pitches. So, and after using 8 pitchers last night, the Canes, you got to think they'll let Ciccone go as long as he can. Ganella works out a 1-out walk as the Eagles continue their streak of having at least 1 base runner in every inning. 3rd time through the lineup here. Usually if a lineup's going to get to a pitcher, it's going to be the 3rd time they see him. And for the most part tonight, Ciccone's been a 1-pitch pitcher. He's just reared back and thrown the fastball. A couple times lately, he's turned it over, put some movement on it, but 85-90% of his pitches have been a fastball, including one there that's high, ball 1. Coffers has struck out in the 1st and 3rd innings. 2 of the 6. And just like that, 4 in a row out of the strike zone. And, well, we got a little visit to the mound. J.D. Ortega is usually one that handles the mound visits. And that is Ortega. And my guess is that's a little bit more of a pep talk as opposed to something mechanical. It's like, hey, what are you messing around for? Got a 4-run lead. Got good stuff. Those strikes. Ganella, the one-out base runner at first. Coffer swings and misses at the high fastball. 1-1. And that's where Ciccone has done his damage, the Eagles. That fastball between the belt and the letters. Got to have good stuff to get hitters out there, but if you have good stuff, you can wear them out there. The 1-1 to Coffers. Swing and a miss. Belt tie fastball. Well, I wouldn't say it'd be shocking if he throws Coffers something different, but it would be surprising because he struck him out both times on high fastballs, and he's just thrown 2 high fastballs by him here. The 1-2. Fastball fouled back. Got it below the waist, and Coffer's able to get a piece of it. I think I'd try one more high fastball before I threw a breaking pitch off the plate. One out, bottom of the 5th. Eagles trail 4-0. Still looking for that first hit. Fastball at the knees on the corner, a pitcher's pitch. 7th strikeout for Ciccone. And Coffers has struck out all 3 times he's been up so far tonight. Here's the left-hand hitting catcher, Alex Brate. He's 0 for 2. Flied out to shallow left field his first time up. Hit into an inning-ending 6-4-3 double play in the 3rd. Fastball, thigh high, inside corner, strike 1. Wind, which has been gusting pretty strongly out to right center, not blowing much right now. Brate homered last night, 2-run shot in the 8th to get the Eagles to within 2. A home run here would do the same thing, and Brate swinging for the fences, pops it up. Zamora in left field, shallow left, barely on the grass, makes the play, and Brate is now 0 for 3, and Slade Ciccone has a no-hitter going to the 6th. The Canes lead the Eagles 4-0 at Swanson. Top of the 6th inning at Swanson Stadium. Miami, 4 runs, 7 hits, and an error, and the Eagles with zeros across the board. Justin Gill has pitched pretty well. 4 runs on 7 hits, wouldn't say that through 5 innings, but looked as if he got a 6-4-3 double play to end the 3rd inning. Was not ruled that way. A couple of hits later, it was 3-0. Otherwise, Gill gave up a solo homer in the 5th inning. He's thrown just 70 pitches through 5. This is his longest outing of the season. And if you're Dave Tillett, you cannot thank Justin Gill enough. After 7 pitchers through 231 pitches last night in the loss to Miami. Big swing and a miss from Anthony Villar. Villar, who singled and was thrown out trying to stretch it into a double his first time up, and then hit a 2-run homer in the 3rd inning. So he's 2 for 2. And an off-speed pitch on the outside corner, and Villar behind in the count 0-2. And that 2-run homer came 2 batters after FGCU thought they had a 6-4-3 double play to end the 3rd inning with no runs being scored. Then there was a stolen base and an RBI single by Lala, make it 1-0, and then Villar hit a 2-run shot into the bullpen in right center, and it's 3-0, and Miami has led comfortably since. The 0-2 from Gill. Curveball, and an overhand curveball at that. He's been mostly 3/4 when he's thrown a slow curve, but that one he threw a little more over the top and a little harder, and he bounced it. 2, 3, 4 in the lineup for Miami. Villar, Zamora, and Del Castillo. And the 1-2, and that's down the 3rd base line. Heck of a play by Hayes. He comes up throwing, but not in time. And Villar is 3 for 3. Great diving play by Hayes. Made a heck of a throw. But off the end of the bat, the ball not hit all that hard, and Villar with very good speed able to beat it out for an infield single. And as I mentioned, he's 3 for 3 and a leadoff base runner here in the 6th. The shortstop, Zamora, who's 0 for 2 against Gill, now steps to the plate. Villar has not attempted a stolen base yet this year. He's got a pretty big lead, and Gill misses pretty badly with that fastball, ball 1. 75 pitches now for Gill. Remember, his longest outing before tonight was 3 1/3 innings. And the FGCU bullpen is fast at work. It's the heart of the order for the Canes. Chance to break this one wide open. The 1-0. Gets the high strike call, 1-1. Now Gill's gotten Zamora out twice. He's gotten Del Castillo out twice. He's done really well against the heart of the order. Bunch of 300-plus hitters here for Miami, one after the other. Throw over to first, and Gill, who's already picked a man off tonight. Picked off Jenkins last inning, and he did so right before Terral hit a monster home run over the bullpen in right center. The 1-1. Villar not going. Slow curve outside, 2-1. Well, the Eagles have thrown out a runner from center field. Brate's thrown out an attempted base stealer. And Gill has picked a man off first. High fastball, and Justin behind the count, 3-1. And at this point, you figure head coach Dave Tillet's going batter by batter. And this is the 80th pitch of the night for Gill, and I don't know how many more he's going to have in him. The 3-1 skied out of play into the FGCU bullpen. Behind the Eagles' dugout and just off the third. Now, Zamora has made contact in both of his at-bats tonight. He has struck out just 19 times on the season. Do you send Vilar here on 3-2 with nobody out in the sixth? Vilar's running. Swing and a miss. Throw down to second. It's a strike him out. Throw him out. Double play. Gino DeMare made the decision. It was a delayed steal, if you will. So it was a hit and run. And Zamora struck out, and then the throw him out part. And just like that, Gill's got two down here in the sixth inning. And here's the left-hand hitting catcher, Adrian Del Castillo, who's 0 for 2 on the night. Adrian struck out leading off the second and grounded out to first, leading off the fourth inning. Cannot say enough about Justin Gill. He's pitched much better than his line. And a fastball at the knees, 1-1. Over 80 pitches now for a spot starter, making just his second start of the season. 3 1/3 innings, his longest outing before tonight. Here he is, 2 outs into the sixth against Miami. And that one skied down the left field line. It's going to be trouble. Jay Hayes with a terrific play. Back to the infield, looking up into the lights, and he catches it as he falls to the ground. No runs, a hit, and no men left. And Justin Gill has pitched 6 innings for the Eagles, and now FGCU needs the bats to come alive. 4-0 Miami heading to the bottom of the sixth. Bottom of the sixth inning here at Swanson Stadium, and despite having a no-hitter through 5, that'll do it for Slade Ciccone. 5 innings, no hits. He did, however, he had a lot of base runners. He walked Hayes in the first inning, walked Garcia in the second, walked Ganella in the third, hit Hayes in the fourth. Stevens reached on an error in the fourth, and then he walked Ganella in the fifth inning. So you add it all up, FGCU, despite not having a hit, has had a base runner in every single inning and 2 in the fourth. So 4 walks, a hit batsman, and an error. And his pitch count was close to 90. And so head coach Gino DeMare said, that's enough. And coming into the game is Mark Mixon. Mixon, a 6'2 junior out of Ponte Vedra, Florida. He enters with a .79 earned run average, having given up just 7 hits in over 11 innings. Mixon threw 2 1/3 hitless innings last night, and he threw 26 pitches. So we'll see how long he goes here, whether or not he may just be a one-inning guy. But bottom of the sixth, 4-0 Miami. 3-4-5 in the FGCU lineup, Jay Hayes. And the sidewinder misses up and in, ball one. The third baseman, who made a spectacular defensive play to end the top of the sixth. The old adage, how often do you see the guy who makes the great defensive play lead off the next inning? It happens again in this case, and the sidewinding Mixon catches the inside corner with that fastball, 1-1. Hayes walked in the first inning and was hit by a pitch leading off the fourth inning. And he had 2 hits, including a homer last night. And he's been hit by a pitch twice in this series, and Hayes fouls that one back. So Jay Hayes has reached base 5 times against Miami pitching in these back-to-back games. 2 hits, hit by a pitch twice, and a walk. Hayes hitting .376 with 8 homers and 38 RBIs. The 1-2. Fastball just high. 2-2. Mixon didn't give up a hit last night, didn't walk a batter, and struck out 2 in 2 1/3 innings. And he recorded the 7 outs on just 26 pitches. Swing and a miss at a sidewinding fastball. And the first strikeout for Mixon. Here's the left fielder, Keith Stevens. He hit a high chopper back to the mound to end the first inning. And for a couple minutes, he had the Eagles' first hit of the game. He had a line drive to right field. Gabe Rivera came in on, and he got his glove on it, chest high, and dropped it. Initially ruled a hit, changed to an error. I think Rivera would tell you I should have had it. And at the time, the Eagles had first and second and nobody out. Fisted, right side, and the second baseman, Villar, makes the catch just inches off the ground. And if that had fallen, it would have been the first hit. But instead, it's 2 out and nobody on. And here's the first baseman, Cole Gilmore. Villar looked over at Terrell as if to say, I thought you were going to get that, but okay, guess not. You know, the Eagles have had a couple of games like this in their history with Miami where they have just struggled to hit. In fact, one time I remember a Miami starter in a game at Hammond Stadium as Mixon pounds the strike zone to Gilmore, 0-1. Canes took a no-hitter into the 8th inning in one game against the Eagles in a midweeker at Hammond Stadium. In fact, the starting pitcher took a perfect game into the 8th and was taken out because of a pitch count. And the Eagles, a couple of walks and an error, had the bases loaded with 2 outs and a chance actually to take the lead in a game that they had, well, yet to get a hit in. Just like tonight, still looking for the first hit, but it's only 4-0. But Mark Mixon is a pitch away from getting out of the 6th. The 1-2. Fastball, up the middle. Villar charges, has it, throws over to Terrell at first. And we've played 6 at Swanson Stadium, and FGCU is still looking for their first hit. 4-0 Miami as we head to the 7th. Top of the 7th inning at Swanson Stadium. Canes lead the Eagles 4-0. FGCU without a hit through 6. And 6 will be it for Justin Gill. The spot starter, I thought he pitched really well. His final line is 6 innings pitched. I mean, remember, his longest outing of the season was 3 1/3. He went nearly double that. And did so against a terrific hitting Canes team. Gave up a couple homers amongst his 8 hits. 4 runs all earned. He struck out 6 and did not walk a batter. Justin Gill, I think if you had told Dave Tillett before the game, this is the line that you're going to get from your starting pitcher, he would have said, you know what? I'll take it. We've been swinging the bats pretty well. I'll take my chances. For the Eagles, meanwhile, Seb Grosecki comes in relief. It's his 14th appearance. He's 0-1 with a 2.45 earned run average. Grosecki got the final out of the 8th inning last night, but it wasn't easy. He gave up 2 hits and an earned run before getting that final out, but he only threw 9 pitches. And his first pitch is low for a ball 1. And it is 5-6-7 in the Miami lineup. Raymond Gill, the third baseman, at the plate. He's 1 for 2. He struck out in the 2nd and singled back in the 4th inning. Grosecki gets the call at the knees, 1-1. Gill, Gates, and Jenkins for Miami here in the 7th. Grosecki, overhand curve. Good pitch, 1-2. What a difference a day makes. Last night in Miami, couple of rain delays. Game took 5.5 hours because of it. Grosecki misses with another overhand curve, 2-2. Both teams had 13 hits, 22 runs in the game, 16 walks. Tonight, we got 4 runs, 8 hits through 6. The 2-2, check swing. Count goes full, 3-2 to Raymond Gill. Left-hand hitting DH J.P. Gates waits in the on-deck circle. Leading hitter on the team in terms of batting average. Gates, although he's 0 for 2 on the night. The 3-2. Fastball, grounded. Hayes charges at third. Throws over to first in plenty of time. 1 away here in the 7th. Gates struck out to end the 2nd inning. Hit into a fielder's choice. And then was thrown out trying to steal to end the 4th inning. Gates 1 for 7 in this series, which is pretty impressive for FGCU pitching considering he's hitting over 400 on the year. First pitch swinging, fouls it out of play, 0-1. You never know what you're going to get in a midweek game. Usually both teams are, if they're throwing a regular starter, it'd be their number 4 or 5 starter. If they're going with a bullpen game, you could see 6, 7, 8 guys. Sky down the left field line and foul ground coming over. And Stevens unable to reach it before it bounds out of play. Grosecki ahead in the count 0-2. Think about it, FGCU had 7 pitchers last night. Miami had 8. Meanwhile, the Canes starter gave him 5, and the FGCU starter gave the Eagles 6 tonight. Last night, the 2 starters combined to get 6 outs. The 0-2, waste pitch, 1-2. For the Eagles, they go on the road after this one. They'll play 4 straight. 3 in the A-Sun at Kennesaw State, and then Tuesday of next week, it's back at it against Miami. 3 games in 8 days between these two schools. 2 in Miami, 1 at FGCU. Tip of the hat to Miami. They have scheduled FGCU since the early days of the program. The 1-2, overhand curve. Just got a piece of it. Grusecki hasn't pitched much lately after working a lot. But being used on back-to-back nights here against the Canes. The 1-2, grounded, base hit. Right side, past Garcia. And Gates is a one-out base runner, his first hit of the night. And here's the center fielder, Tony Jenkins, who grounded out the second, his first time up, and then singled leading off the fifth and was picked off. And that saved the Eagles a run because Alex Terral, 2 pitches later, hit one about 425 feet to right center field. So 1 out, runner on first. Grusecki. Overhand curve, strike at the knees. Jenkins has 3 hits in this series. 2 last night, including a double. Drove in 2, scored twice, and then singled his last time up. So he's 3 for 5 against the Eagles, with a couple of walks thrown in for good measure. Gates is yet to attempt a stolen base at first base. There's another reason why Gill picking off Jenkins in the 5th was so impressive, because Jenkins 8 for 9 in stolen bases on the year. So if he gets on and decides to run, he's all but automatic. And Gill saved himself a run with that pickoff. Game moving along at a decent pace as we approach the 2-hour mark, and we're 1 out in the 7th. That's not always the case in baseball these days. We've had a couple here at Swanson Stadium this year. And last night's game, as I mentioned, granted 2 rain delays, but even without the delays, it was over a 4-hour game, which you would expect with each team with 13 hits, throw in some 16 walks, about 4 hit batters. A lot of ducks on the pond last night. Well, the Canes making Grusecki work here in this inning. Gates fouled off a few pitches before finally singling. Here's Jenkins fouling off a few, behind in the count 1-2. Gates dives back in. Bottom part of the order here for Miami, just done some real damage. Jenkins has a hit. Terral has 2 hits, including a homer. The 1-2. That one grounded through the whole left side for a base hit. Gates rounding second, and he'll stay there. And this is a very dangerous part of the game for the Eagles. So Gates singles, Jenkins singles, both with 1 out. And here is Alex Terral, who singled in the 3rd inning and hit the longest home run I've seen in years to right center field back in the 5th inning. And Terral has 14 home runs on the season. has a slugging percentage of nearly .600. And a slow walk to the mound for Dave Tillett. I look over in the Eagles bullpen. I don't see anybody throwing. I see a couple guys standing around. They may have been throwing. Home plate umpire Luke Hamilton's giving Toe plenty of time here. And it looks as if he says to Toe, "What are we going to do?" Toe says, "I'm going to leave you in." Key spot in this game. If FGCU is going to have any chance getting back in it, they've got to escape this situation here in the top of the 7th. The very dangerous Alex Terral, first baseman, is 2 for 2, including a home run. Facing Grosecki. First and second, 1 out. Fastball low, ball 1. Terral, a sophomore out of Davie, Florida. Very much the modern ball player. Average, not so much in the 230s. But 14 homers and 35 RBIs. Pickoff play at second, and Gonzalez keeps it from going into center field. Yeah. I don't think the guys are going to be running with Terral at the plate. I'd be shocked, actually, if Miami would risk running themselves out of this inning with this big stick at the plate. Terral almost stepped out. Now he's back in there, the 1-0. Fastball outside, 2-0. Justin Gill was who Terral faced his first 2 times up, a lefty. And Terral hit an off-speed pitch a long way his last time up. The 2-0. Fouled off. Looked as if it was Grosecki took a little something off that one. Terral thinking fastball. Barely got it off the end of the bat. Canes with 10 hits, and the Eagles still looking for their first. Top of the 7th, 4-0 Miami. In the dirt, big swing and a miss as Grosecki turned it over, and the count's now even at 2-2. I mean, Terrell's got those 14 homers and those 35 RBIs. He also has 39 strikeouts. The 2-2. Fastball. Terrell got a piece. Yeah, that might be the last fastball I show him. And he sped up his bat, which is good because the 2 pitches before that were off-speed pitches. And I think I'd come back with one of those. First and second, 1 out. The 2-2. Off-speed pitch, grounded through the right side for a base hit. Rounding third is Gates, and he stops there. Good play by Ganella to charge it and get the ball in. Bases are loaded now. 1 out for the Canes. And here's the 9th place hitter, Gabe Rivera. So back to back singles for the Canes with 1 out in the 7th off Seb Grosecki. And here's Rivera. Rivera, the most controversial at bat of the game, looked as if he hit into a 6-4-3 double play to end the 3rd inning. First baseman Cole Gilmore ruled to have come off the bag. Replays don't necessarily back that up. Miami ended up scoring 3 runs, and first pitch swinging. That one hit deep to right field, way back and gone. Gabe Rivera hits his 3rd home run of the season. It's a grand slam to break this one open in the 7th. It's 8-0 Miami. First pitch swinging. Grosecki with an overhand curveball. Rivera stays behind it, inside outs it, over the wall and right center. 4 hits in a row, 3 singles, and a grand slam. And it's 8-0 Canes. Well, Grosecki struggled in relief last night. Threw 9 pitches, gave up 2 hits, did get a strikeout to end the 8th inning, but gave up a run along the way. And then after getting the first out here in the 7th, consecutive singles, 3 of them, and then Rivera the homer. All 3 Canes home runs to right center field tonight, and the wind has been blowing out to the exact spot of the homers. Gates, Jenkins, and Terrell with the appetizers, and then Rivera with the main course. And what was FGCU's biggest crowd of the season, facing the Canes, Military Appreciation Night. And I understand that FGCU came from 8-0 down against Lipscomb. St. Lipscomb. Fastball. Inside to the leadoff hitter, Jordan Lala. Lala's 1 for 3. He singled, stole a base. The single in the 3rd inning drove in a run, and then he scored on Vilar's 2-run homer. And a call strike to make the count 3-2. Three runs in the 3rd, 4 runs in the 7th. 2 big innings for Miami. Grounded foul, will do it again. And right now the suspense that's left is, can the Eagles get a hit? No hit through 6, even though they've had 6 base runners in the game. The 3-2 from Grosecki. Low ball 4.
Now batting, the second baseman, number 27, Anthony Villar.
And this is where one game can impact another, that can impact another. Mentioned FGCU goes on the road after tonight. They play 3 at Kennesaw. Last thing Dave Tillett wants is a worn-out bullpen for 3 conference games on the road, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So even if this game is a lost cause, which it feels right now like it is at 8-0 in the 7th, just needs Grosecki and company to, well, just take care of business from here. So he doesn't show up with about 4 or 5 tired arms in Kennesaw tomorrow. The 0-1 in the dirt, 1-1. Villar singled and was thrown out, trying to stretch it into a double in the 2nd inning. Hit a 2-run homer in the 1st inning, Hit a 2-run homer in the 3rd, and then singled and was thrown out trying to steal his last time up. So Villar's 3 for 3, 2 singles and a 2-run homer. And he doesn't like that call, and Grosecki will certainly take it. He's now ahead 1-2. Villar came in hitting .325 and put 3 hits on the board. Now he's got 2 homers and 22 RBIs. That one just outside 2-2. If the game was closer, I think Lala'd be running, but at 8-0, if he runs here, I could see the Eagles being a little upset. Overhand curve is low. Count goes full at 3-2. Now, if they put him in motion now, that I could understand. It'd be more of a hit and run situation than a straight steal. Shortstop Freddie Zamora waits on deck. The 3-2, runner not going, fouled off at the plate, and it got a piece of Brate. Luke Hamilton, the home plate umpire, killing time right now as Brate tries to shake it off. Luke pats him on the back of the left shoulder and says, "You okay?" Alex like, "Yeah, I'm all right." We'll do it again, 3-2. Back-to-back walks. And that'll do it. After getting the first man, he faced Raymond Gill out on a ground out to third. Seb Grosecki gave up 3 consecutive singles, a grand slam to Gabe Rivera, and then back-to-back walks to Lala and Villar. And back to the bullpen is Dave Tillett. Runners on first and second, 1 out. When play resumes in a moment, 8-0 Miami. New pitcher for the Eagles, their third of the night, Nicholas Bittner. This, his 12th appearance. 6 have been starts. Now this, his 6th in relief. Bittner, a 5'11 sophomore out of Palm Coast, Florida. Comes in with a 1-2 record and a 4.13 earned run average. And even though the Eagles had 7 pitchers last night, Bittner was not one of them. And I think at this point, Dave Tillett would love it if Bittner could, well, finish this game. Seb Grosecki did not have it tonight. He's already given up 4 runs, and he's responsible for the base runners on first and second. 1 out here in the 7th. Zamora, the shortstop, is 0 for 3. Lined out to left field to end the first. Grounded out to third to end the third. And struck out last inning. Freddie 1 for 7 in this series, which may dent his robust batting average, which was .338 at the beginning of the night. He's got good power with 6 homers, and he is second on the team with 36 RBIs. Freddie Zamora. Hard throwing Bittner with a big swing and a miss from Zamora. Strike 1. Bittner with 27 strikeouts and 28 in the third innings. The 0-1. And this is the hardest thrower the Eagles have had in the lineup tonight, so you can see where might be an adjustment for the Canes hitters. And this is what Dave Tillett needs. Sure, he said to Bittner, just please throw strikes. Get me as many of these final 8 outs as you can. The 0-2, just off the corner, 1-2. Lala off second, Vilar off first. The 1-2. Fastball. Zamora had a beat on that one as he fouled it back to the screen. The catcher, Del Castillo, waits on deck. He started every game this year. When the score gets to 8-0, this is when managers or college baseball head coaches look for ways to give a guy an inning or two of rest. The 1-2 in the dirt. Brait blocks it. 2-2. Eight runs, 12 hits, and an error for Miami. Zeros across the board for the Eagles through 6. We're here in the 7th. The Canes have already scored 4. They lead at 8-0. Foul down the right field line, out of play. Little old school there from Zamora, just reaching out, slapping at it, fouling it off. High slider from Bittner. No sense nibbling. It's 8-0. Throw him your fastball and see if he can handle it. The 2-2. Count goes full, 3-2. Lala, the runner at second, has 16 steals on the year. Runner's not going, the 3-2. Fisted and fouled out of play. It's a good thing Bittner didn't work last night. He's throwing a lot of pitches. Just facing Zamora. The 3-2. Fastball, fisted down the right field line. Also out of play. Off the roof of the baseball and softball complex down the right field side. So we'll do it again for the 4th time. First and second, 1 out. The 3-2 to Zamora. Fastball. Fisted, out of play again. Heck of an at bat here from Freddie Zamora. Good job by the Canes battling here in the late innings. Remember, they played a long game last night. They got to bed in the wee hours of the morning. They had to bus across the alley. But they are grinding here in the middle of the late innings. Fastball misses outside, ball 4. 7th consecutive cane to reach. 3 singles, a grand slam, and now 3 walks in a row. Heck of an at-bat from Zamora. Bases loaded for the second time in this inning. And here's the catcher, Adrian Del Castillo, who's 0 for 3 on the night. Struck out in the second, grounded to first in the fourth, and flied out to shallow left field when Jay Hayes made a terrific play with a long run from third base and making the catch with his back to the infield. Grounded to short, could be 2. Gonzalez to Garcia for 1. Good hard slide from Zamora, broke it up, and it's an RBI ground out for Del Castillo. 9-0 Miami. Zamora got down to second base quickly. Took a little while for Gonzalez to control it, flip it to Richie at second. Would have been a tough 2 to turn. Del Castillo was running pretty well, and Zamora got in on Garcia, and it's an RBI ground out, and it's 9-0 Canes. 5 runs here in the 7th. Bittner throws a slider to a strike to Raymond Gill, who led off this 7th inning by grounding the third. So the Canes have batted around. 4 hits, 3 walks, an RBI ground out, bases still loaded, or excuse me, first and third 2 outs. Swing and miss at another slider, 0-2. Gill 1 for 3, having singled back in the 4th inning. Grounded foul, 0-2. Justin Gill went the first 6 innings. Gave up 4 runs on 8 hits, struck out 6, didn't walk a batter. Seb Grusecki got the first out of the 7th, and then all heck broke loose. Fastball low, 1-2. Gates singled. Tony Jenkins singled. Alex Terrell singled to load the bases. And then Gabe Rivera with an opposite field grand slam. Just his 3rd homer of the season. That made it 8-0. 3 consecutive walks, the first 2 from Grusecki. And then Nicholas Bittner came into the game. I think it was about a 12-pitch at-bat with Zamora before Zamora walked. Del Castillo with the RBI ground out. And here is Raymond Gill, his 2nd at-bat of the inning. He grounded out the 3rd to start the inning. The 2-2. Just misses. Things are different now. A generation or so ago, something close like that, the umpire would just say, got to move this thing along. Let's go. Not now. All these games televised. Everybody being judged. Everybody filing reports. Umpires got to grind just like the players. Runner going from first on the 3-2. And it is the 4th walk of the inning. Second by Bittner. And J.P. Gates will bat for the 2nd time in the inning. He got this whole thing started with a 1-out single. Gates is 1 for 3. 2 for 8 in the series. Bases are loaded again. First time they were loaded, Gabe Rivera hit a grand slam, and that's a balk. Yep, he started his motion and then backed off. That's a balk. Well, we've seen just about everything this inning. We've seen a grand slam. We've seen 4 walks. Now we've seen a balk lead to a run. Vilar comes in and scores on the balk. 6 runs in the inning. 10-0 Miami. Fastball, fouled out of play, 1-1. This game was moving right along. This half inning has taken a half hour. Check swing, and they say that J.P. Gates swung 1-2. I just happened to look over at my phone at the beginning of this inning, and it was 8:32. It's now 9:02, and the Canes are still batting. The 1-2. Del Castillo at third, Gill at second. 2 outs. The 1-2. Call strike 3. But not before the Canes score 6 runs on 4 hits, and they leave 2. 7th inning stretch time at Swanson Stadium, and it's all Miami. 10-0 Canes. Inning at Swanson Stadium. Some defensive changes for the Canes, which we'll figure out as we go along.
A new right fielder, 35. Richie Garcia. Yeah. 35.
Chad Crosby replaces Gabe Rivera in right field. And Chet Moore replaces Jordan Lala in left. So right now the corner outfielders have been replaced for Miami. 10-0 Canes, 10 runs, 12 hits, 1 error, and the Eagles have been held hitless through 6. 6, 7, and 8 in the FGCU lineup. Richie Garcia, Joe Kinker, and Eric Gonzalez to face Mark Mixon, starting his 2nd inning of relief. Garcia first pitch swinging, fouls it out of play. Richie walked in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th. Until Mixon came in relief in the 6th inning, the Eagles had a base runner in each of the first 5 innings as Garcia fouls another one off, 0-2. But Slade Ciccone was able to pitch around 4 walks, a hit batsman, and an error. And Garcia rips one down the left field line, but it's foul. Mixon, who threw 2 1/3 scoreless and hitless innings in relief last night, had a scoreless and hitless inning last inning. The 0-2 to Garcia. Backdoor slider misses inside, 1-2. Three in the third, 1 in the fifth, 6 in the seventh for Miami. Garcia fouls one straight back. Once again, nobody flinches. No one. Here in the box, no one. It's because half the people here are on their phones making dinner plans, hoping the game starts moving along again. Off-speed sidearm fastball just misses. Garcia checked his swing, didn't go around. 2-2. When will the Eagles get a hit? The 2-2. Ripped foul. Well, whenever Mixon has gotten the ball about belt high, Garcia's been all over it. The 2-2 from Mixon. Off-speed pitch right there on the inside corner. And a call, strike 3. Second strikeout for Mixon. Ninth strikeout for Canes pitching. Ciccone had 7 in his 5 innings of work. Mixon has struck out 2 of the 4 batters he's faced. Here's the DH, Joe Kinker. Fastball inside, ball 1. Kinker 0 for 2, having struck out both of his times up tonight. Kinker yet to get a hit against Miami pitching in this home and home back-to-back series. Mixon paints the outside corner 1-1. Mixon threw 26 pitches last night. Here he is in his second inning of work tonight. Kinker fouls one back, 1-2. Talked about FGCU going on the road after tonight. Canes will be traveling tomorrow. They'll be headed to Charlottesville, Virginia for a 3-game series against the Cavaliers. They return home to face the Eagles on Tuesday and then back out on the road to play Louisville before a stretch of 8 straight at home for Miami. The 2-2 inside, nearly hit him. Count goes full, 3-2. The 3-2. Canes pitching, yet to allow a hit. We're 1 out in the 7th. Remember, this is an Eagles team that last night produced 13 hits, scored 9 runs, grounded. Kinker running, can't beat it out. Gill over to Terrell, 2 away. Kinker not the speediest of base runners, and Gill able to make the play. 2 away. Here's the shortstop, Eric Gonzalez. He's 0 for 2. He lined out to Zamora at short, who moved to his right and made a catch a few inches off the ground. And then he struck out back in the fifth. Well, the Eagles had two balls tonight which could have been hits. Cole Gilmore hit a line drive that the shortstop Zamora, leading off the second inning, had a range to his left and leap as high as he can. And that one down the right field line, and there goes the no-no. Gonzalez rounding first, heading for second, and that's going to be a two-out double for the Eagles shortstop. And, well, at least the Eagles won't be no-hit tonight. So a two-out base runner for the Eagles, and it's actually the seventh base runner they've had in the game. But the first via hit. And here's the right fielder, Anthony Ganella, who's walked twice. Looks as if there's a left-hander warming up in the Miami bullpen. Don't know how many more pitches that head coach Gabe Damari wants Mixon to throw as he misses outside ball one. Del Castillo goes out to the mound. Mixon, who threw 26 pitches yesterday, has thrown 29 pitches so far tonight. And I know he's a sidewinder and it's a little less stress on your arm and shoulder, but back-to-back nights. And also, remember, he sat on the bench for over half an hour while the Canes were scoring 6 runs in the top of the second. And that's what I think Gino Damari is thinking, that, 29 pitches may be enough. Left-hand hitter up, lefty warming in the bullpen. I mean, he's warming for a reason, and he's going to go to him. So we have a pitching change after Mark Mixon gives up the first hit of the game for FGCU with 2 out in the 7th. 10-0 Canes. Will be back to see who's entering the game for Miami after this. Bottom of the 7th, the new pitcher for Miami, their third of the night, lefty Bailey Mantilla. This just his third appearance of the season. One of the previous 2 appearances was last night. He threw an inning of relief, gave up 2 hits and a run, which was unearned. He did, however, strike out the side. Bailey Mantilla threw 27 pitches last night, and here he is to try to get the final out of the 7th here tonight. 2 appearances, 3 innings. He's given up 3 hits and a walk and has struck out 5. Bailey Mantilla, a freshman from Hialeah. And since the lefty was brought in to face the left-hand hitting Ganella, one pitch into the at-bat, Elijah Eusebio will now pinch hit for Ganella. Eusebio, the righty, against the lefty Mantilla. And Bailey misses outside, ball 2. The 2-0, a strike at the knees, 2-1. Eusebio scuffling a bit, hitting 209. He does have 3 homers and 14 RBIs. And he had a pinch hit homer earlier this year at North Florida to help the Eagles rally to take a late inning lead. Fouls that one off, 2-2. So Ganella, who walked twice and saw the first pitch of this at bat, which was a ball, and now here's Eusebio to finish it against Mantilla. Grounded foul. Eric Gonzalez, the base runner at second. First hit of the night for FGCU. Came 2 outs here in the 7th. A double down the right field line. All 3 of Mantilla's outs last night were strikeouts. And Eusebio calls time. The 2-2. Swing and a miss at a sinking fastball. And Mantilla gets the strikeout to retire the side. No runs, but there was FGCU's first hit of the night and 1 man left. We've played 7 at Swanson Stadium. Miami leads at 10-0. Top of the 8th here at Swanson Stadium. A lot of changes for FGCU. The biggest of which, on the mound, Cody Woodring, 4th pitcher of the night for the Eagles. So Seb Grisecki goes a third of an inning, gives up 6 runs in the 7th. Nicholas Bittner got the final 2 outs, but not after he walked 2, balked in a run. Cody Woodring and delivers a first pitch strike to center fielder Tony Jenkins. Jenkins is 2 for 3. He singled his last 2 times up. He was picked off after singling in the 5th inning. He scored on the grand slam home run by Gabe Rivera last inning. Cody Woodring, this is his 4th appearance. In his previous 3, he's only gotten 5 outs, and his ERA is 16 and change. Woodring got the first 2 outs in the 8th inning last night, gave up a hit and a run. And the count now 1-2 on Jenkins. Eusebio goes into right field. Christian Profit is now the shortstop in place of Eric Gonzalez. The 1-2, skied to second base. Coming in and making the play is Eric Gonzalez, who moved over to second. 1 away. So Gonzalez at second, Profit at short. Alex Brait, the catcher, has moved into left field. And behind the plate is Keith Stevens, who was in left. Dave Tillett did this on Saturday with Brait and Stevens when the Eagles trailed 8-0. Then when the Eagles came back to take a 10-8 lead, Brait came back in from left field, went behind the plate. Stevens went back out to left. One away here in the 8th. And here's Alex Terrell, who's 3 for 3, 2 singles, and a homer. Terrell singled in the 3rd inning, hit a massive solo homer in the 5th inning, and then was the 3rd of 3 consecutive singles in the 7th inning. And then the next batter, Gabe Rivera, brought everybody in with a grand slam. So Terrell walks. So he's reached base all 4 times tonight. And here's the first at-bat of the game for Chad Crosby. Crosby, who came into the game 2 innings ago, or last inning actually, after Gabe Rivera hit the grand slam. And Crosby, first pitch swinging, flies one to fairly deep right center field. Eusebio is over, makes the catch. Two away. I said that was Eusebio. That's my mistake. It was Jalen Townsend who came into the game in right field. So Townsend moved over and made the catch. 2 away. And here's Chet Moore. His first at-bat of the game. Moore, who came in for the left fielder Jordan Lala last inning, takes a strike. Moore, a freshman from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And he just reaches out and punches it in the shallow center field, and that'll fall for a base hit. That's just the 4th hit of the season for Moore. And here's the second baseman, Anthony Villar. who singled and was thrown out trying to stretch it into a double in the first inning. Hit a 2-run homer in the third. Singled and was thrown out trying to steal in the sixth. Walked and scored last inning. So Vilars, 3 for 3 with a walk and 2 runs scored and 2 RBIs. And he comes up with runners on first and second and 2 out here in the 8th inning. First pitch swinging, skied into the infield. Who's got it? Profit, the shortstop, makes the catch. And the side retired. And Villar retired for the first time today. To the bottom of the 8th we go, 10-0 Canes.
Eagles nothing and the Hurricanes 10. Okay, fans, get up on your feet for some FGCU swag and sing along to Sweet Caroline.
Tell me how this looks. That look good?
Yeah.
That good?
Yep.
Maybe we have a new. I just sometimes.
Probably have a new catcher at 31.
Same guy pitching, right?
That's the only change. 31 Kino.
Bottom of the 8th at Swanson Stadium, 10-0 Miami. A 3-run third. Put the Canes ahead for good. Solo homer in the 5th. And then a 6-run 7th inning. 3 singles, a grand slam, 4 walks, an infield ground out, a balk. 6 Miami runs in the 7th. The Eagles were no hit for 6 2/3 innings until shortstop Eric Gonzalez lined an opposite field double down the right field line to break up the no-no. Top of the order here for the Eagles in the bottom of the 8th inning. 1 change for Miami. They're giving Adrian Del Castillo, the catcher, the final couple innings off as he'll call it a night. He's caught every game for Miami this year. Isaac Quinones will come in for the final couple innings. Quinones. Bailey Mantilla, who got the final out of the 7th, starts the 8th. Coffers is 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Coming off of a 3-hit night last night. Tell me that's not baseball. The 1-1. Fouled back 1 and 2. Eagles head to Kennesaw, Georgia tomorrow. 3-game road ASUN series Friday, Saturday, Sunday against the Owls. Miami heads to Virginia to face the Cavaliers. And Coffers lines one to fairly deep center field. Jenkins going back. Makes the catch. Mark is 0 for 4. Here's Alex Brait, who started behind the plate but moved to left field last inning. He's 0 for 3. Flied out to left, popped out the shortstop, and hit into a double play. Mantilla misses inside ball 1. In the dirt, 2-0. Cody Woodring, who got the job done in the top of the eighth for the Eagles. He pitched last night through 11 pitches. I would expect him to be sent out for the ninth, though. If you're Dave Tillett, don't know if you want to use any more pitchers, but he does have someone warming in the bullpen. Brait being given some time to try to shake off that foul ball. And Dave Tillett sending the trainer out to ask Alex Brait, are you okay? I mean, it is 10-0. This is likely your final at bat of the game. I mean, we could call it a night right now. And Brait, like most competitors, like, no, leave me in. I want a base knock. I don't want to go over. So after fouling one off his front foot, still ahead in the count 2-1. And he fouls that one out of play into the FGCU bullpen. Eagles, who struck out 14 times last night, have struck out 10 so far tonight against Miami pitching. Ciccone, the starter, with 7 strikeouts in 5 innings. Mantilla strikes out Brait for strikeout number 11 for Miami.
The third baseman, number 30, Jay.
Mark Mixon with 2 strikeouts in an inning and 2/3 of relief. And now here's Mantilla, who 2 of his 3 outs are via strikeouts. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th. Here's Jay Hayes. Hayes walked in the first, hit by a pitch in the 4th, struck out in the 6th. One hit for FGCU with 2 outs here in the 8th. That came last inning, an opposite field double from Eric Gonzalez. Big swing. Chad Crosby hesitated, but now he comes in, and Jay Hayes flies out to right to end the 8th inning. We go to the 9th. Canes lead the Eagles 10-0. Top of the 9th here at Swanson Stadium. A new pitcher for the Eagles, the 5th of the night. Closer Hunter McGarry in the game to get some work in. His 16th appearance, all in relief. McGarry's 3-1 with 5 saves and a 3.28 earned run average. Nearly a strikeout an inning, 22 strikeouts and 24 2/3. For the Canes here in the ninth, 3, 4, 5 in the batting order. Shortstop Freddie Zamora, who's 0 for 3 with a walk. The 1-0, 1-1. Fastball misses 2-1. So the Canes have back-to-back games with 13 hits, back-to-back games with double-digit runs. This will be the 4th win in a row for Miami against FGCU over the last 2 seasons, as the fastball misses inside 3-1. And this is 38 runs scored by Miami in those 4 wins. And in 3 of the 4 losses, if the Eagles don't score much, if at all, in the ninth, they will have scored 1 or no runs. Last night's 9 runs being the aberration. And a 5-pitch walk for Zamora to start things off here in the 9th inning. And here is the new catcher in the lineup for Miami, Quinones. His first at-bat of the night, Isaac Quinones, who's 1 for 8 so far on the season. And he takes ball low. He takes the place of the everyday catcher, Adrian Del Castillo, who got an RBI ground out in his 0 for 4 last time up. Quinones takes a strike, 1-1.
He's at third. Third base. He came in that inning. We had a few defense.
Quinones 1 for 8 on the season. The one hit a single. He struck out 4 times. Grounds that one to short. Profit on 2 hops over to Gonzalez for 1. And no relay. So first out of the inning recorded on a fielder's choice. First baseman for the Canes. First at bat in place of Raymond Gill. It's Willie Escala. Scala, big swing and a miss, strike 1. Escala hitting .227 on the season. No homers, 3 RBIs. He's got 5 hits, 2 of them for extra bases. The 0-1, good fastball, outside corner. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Gill was 1 for 3 with a walk during his 4 plate appearances. The 0-2 to Escala. Grounded right side and through for a base hit. Rounding second and staying there is Quinones. So Escala with the hit. First and second, 1 out. And here's the switch hitting DH, J.P. Gates. My bad. Gates was number 10. And I saw the 0 and thought it was him. Instead, it's number 40, Austin Pollock, who's looking for his first hit of the season. Fastball up and in, ball 1. And since Pollock's a freshman out of Miami, he's looking for the first hit of his college career. First and second, one out for Pollock. Against the Eagles closer. Hunter McGarry, who's fallen behind 2-0. Pollock misses the sinking fastball, 2-1. Gates, the DH, was 1 for 4. He started that 6-run rally in the 7th with what appeared to be a harmless single. Ended up scoring on the grand slam. He was also at bat last inning when the balk happened to bring in a run. And now McGarry's behind a freshman who's without a career hit, 3-1. Quinones on second, Escala on first. A 3-1, swing and a miss. Oh, Dave Tillett's already unhappy, but if McGarry comes in here and walks 2 of the first 4 batters he faces. Swing and a miss. First strikeout for McGarry, second out of the 9th.
Now batting, the center fielder, number 51, Tony Jenkins.
And center fielder Tony Jenkins will take his normal turn. He grounded out to second. Singled and was picked off first base. Singled and scored on the Gabe Rivera grand slam in the 7th. First and second, 2 outs, 10-0 Miami. McGarry throwing a breaking pitch and misses, 1-0. So Jenkins is 2 for 3 tonight after being 2 for 3 last night. He scored 4 runs in this series. Hard hit ground ball over to second. Gonzalez throws to first, and the side is retired. We go to the 9th. The Eagles only have 1 hit so far in the game and trail it 10-0.
The score remains the Hurricanes 10 and the Eagles.
Bottom of the 9th at Swanson Stadium. Nice crowd on hand tonight, not only because the Canes were in town, but it was Military Appreciation Night. Just under 1,500 at 1488. And that's right around capacity. I think permanent seating at Swanson is 1,500. There is room for standing room. Beautiful night. Certainly is for Miami. 10 runs, 14 hits. Eagles, no runs, and a lone double with 2 outs in the 7th. And things don't get any easier here in the 9th. Canes bring in hard-throwing right-hander Alex Ruiz. It's only his 3rd appearance. He's yet to give up a run. For the Eagles, scheduled to bat 4, 5, and 6 in their order. Keith Stevens, Cole Gilmore, and we'll see, in fact, who ends up coming up here in the 9th inning, as usually in a situation like this, head coach with a chance to, well, get some people into the game. Overhand curveball from Ruiz is the first pitch strike to Keith Stevens. Stevens is 0 for 3. There was a moment in this game in which it looked like he got a hit. He hit a line drive to right field, which Gabe Rivera at the time was playing right. He came in, and it was about belt high, and he got a glove on it but didn't catch it. Ruled a hit for about a minute and a half. And then upon further review, decision was made, he probably should have made that play. So it was changed to E9. Stevens pops one up behind the plate. Isaac Quinones, does he have room? He does, but he doesn't catch it. So Stevens at bat continues. The count now 1-2. So this will be 4 wins in a row for Miami over FGCU. They'll improve to 21-5 against the Eagles. 7-2 in games played in Fort Myers. Overhand curveball misses outside, 2-2. The Eagles had won 8 of 9 before this home and home with the Canes. And now, even though they've got a couple of non-conference games still left, go to Miami next week, face the Canes. I think they still have one with FAU on the road. But for the most part, it's conference games from here on out. And FGCU is 4-2 in the A-Sun. Meanwhile, Miami put these 2 wins in the books. Swing and a miss as Stevens strikes out. 12th strikeout for Miami pitching after recording 14 Ks last night. And pinch hitting for Cole Gilmore is number 10, Cameron Krasminski. Sitting 167 on the season, 2 hits and 12 at-bats. One of the 2 hits a double. And he takes a fastball in the inside corner for a strike. Gilmore was 0 for 3. His first time up, he had a line shot that Zamora, the shortstop, had a leap as high as he could to his left, and he made the catch. And as the no-hitter continued, that play by Zamora was looming larger and larger. The 1-1. Kuzminski, foul. So Gilmore went 1 for 8 in the 2-game set against the Canes. That curveball goes all the way to the backstop. Kuzminski, a junior from the East Coast, Coral Springs, Florida, and he grounds one. Escala comes in, can't make the play. That'll be an infield single. Just the second hit of the night for the Eagles. Escala playing back. I think if the game was a little closer, he might have been playing a little bit closer to even with the bag. But Kuzminski gets his third hit of the season. And here is Christian Profit, who has struggled mightily at the plate this year, hitting 159. Big swing and a miss for a strike. Profit, who was terrific last year as a freshman. He's still great in the field. He's just got off to a very slow start and ended up losing his shortstop job to Eric Gonzalez. He oftentimes comes in as a defensive replacement. Sinker is low, 1-1. Profit, as I mentioned, hitting a $159 on the season. Has just 10 hits, 2 for extra bases. Has driven in 7. Kuzminski with the lead off first. Pitcher's pitch there, catching the outside corner 1-2. Hunter Fernari in the on-deck circle, looking to pinch hit as Profit takes it outside 2-2. Fernari looking for his first hit of the season. And since he's a freshman, looking for his first collegiate hit. Fastball's low, 3-2. So Profit should see a fastball here with the 3-2. Runner going, and that's a fastball, line to the gap in right center field, and it's going to fall for a base hit. In fact, it's going to be an RBI double for Christian Profit, and the Eagles get on the board. And for as much as Profit has struggled this year, man, that has to feel good. And also for the Eagles to avoid the shutout. So Cameron Kuzminski is a pinch hitter singles. Christian Profit is a pinch hitter with an RBI double. And here's Hunter Fernari. Fernari from Daytona Beach. This is just his 4th at-bat of the season. Alex Ruiz trying to buckle down and get the final 2 outs of the game for the Canes. Fastball on the outside corner. Fernari, who's pinch hitting for the DH, Joe Kinker, behind 0-2. Kinker went 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. And still looking for his first hit this year against the Canes as he went 0 for 3 last night. The 0-2, line down the right field line, foul. Fernari has even though it's only his 4th at-bat of the year, he's appeared now in 14 games, either coming in as a pinch runner or a defensive replacement. In the dirt, 1-2. The 1-2 to Fenari. Fouls it off at the plate, off his front foot. And he's got a shin guard, but it looks as if it missed it. We'll do it again. The 1-2. Curveball. Fenari gets a piece of it. Ruiz with the 1-2. Line to short. Fielded on a hop by Zamora. Holds the runner at second. Throws over to first. And the Eagles are down to their final out.
Pinch hitting for Eric Gonzalez, number 13, Brian Ellis.
And now Brian Ellis will get his chance as a pinch hitter in place of the shortstop Eric Gonzalez. Gonzalez, who before the ninth inning had the only hit for the Eagles, a 2-out double in the seventh, going 1 for 3. But now here's Brian Ellis, who has just one hit on the season, 1 for 13. Does have an RBI, however, and there is Profit standing on second. So a single could give him another RBI. Ellis, a sophomore. From Oviedo, Florida. The 1-0. Takes it outside, 2-0. This is 20th plate appearance. He has walked 6 times. So only 1 hit, but 6 walks. And a largely pinch hitting role. The 2-0. Strike on the outside corner, 2-1. Christian Profit on second with 2 outs. Alex Ruiz trying to get the final out. Brian Ellis at the plate. And Ruiz falls behind 3-1. There is no one warming in the Miami bullpen. And while with the score, you would think, well, yeah, sure, but Ruiz has thrown a decent number of pitches here in the ninth. This is 29th pitch, and he misses low, ball 4. And Ruiz had only thrown 1 2/3 innings all season before this inning. I'll bet you he's thrown as many or more pitches here in this ninth inning than he has all year. So first and second with 2 outs. And here is Jalen Townsend with his first at-bat. Townsend, who came in as a defensive replacement in right field back in the 8th. He takes a fastball low and away, ball 1. Townsend hitting .211 on the season. He's got 6 RBIs. Home plate umpire got to be chuckling to himself. Luke Hamilton, he's like, guys, it's 10-1. Come on now. 1 for a fastball, 2 for a curve. Let's go. First and second, 2 outs. Townsend fouls one back, 1-1. Swing and a miss, and the Eagles are down to their final strike. The 1-2 from Ruiz. 2-2. Call strike 3. And that'll do it for the Eagles in the ninth inning. They do avoid the shutout with a run on 2 hits. But the Eagles had just 3 hits on the night, and the Canes had 3 home runs on the night. Anthony Villar with a 2-run homer in the 3rd inning. Alex Terrell with a monster solo homer in the 5th inning. And then Gabe Rivera with the grand slam to put this one to bed in the 7th inning, part of a 6-run 7th for the Canes, 10 runs on 14 hits for Miami. The Canes improved to 22-12 on the season, and they've beaten FGCU for the 4th straight time. For the Eagles, meanwhile, 1 run on 3 hits. They lose the home and home, both ends, to Miami. FGCU falls to 22-11 on the season. For the Eagles, they head to Kennesaw State for a 3-game ASUN series against the Owls. Miami heads to Charlottesville, Virginia to take on the Cavaliers. Miami and FGCU will finish their season series Tuesday night in Miami. Your final score for Swanson Stadium: Miami 10 and FGCU 1. Good night on behalf of FGCU.